Good morning, folks, and welcome back to Wishwell Farms for the start of another busy week of harvesting vegetables. My name is Jason. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is starting out a little bit on the cooler side, but it feels wonderful. It's about 70 degrees, overcast, no chance of rain, so it's going to be great harvest weather today. I came out at 5:30 this morning, already got the trailer packed up and ready to roll to our satellite location. I'll just give you a quick look in here. Loaded down with all of our regular items. The only thing we're missing currently are cantaloupe. I actually have a tub of smaller cantaloupe on there that we're selling at a discounted price because they were delivered last Friday, or picked, I should say, last Friday. And I want to get cleaned up on those, but we're going to load this up with about 50 or 60 jumbo cantaloupe. We will be heading out in the field to pick those first thing this morning as soon as my crew arrives at 8 a.m. And speaking of my crew, we're down to a skeleton crew now. I've lost 7 people, 7 employees over the last week and a half, back to high school and college, and one of them is my daughter, who helped manage, kind of my human resource manager. She did all the scheduling, talked to all the employees. My goodness, geese flying south already? What is this? This is a little early for that. Come on. We got a lot of harvest to go yet. So my daughter started college last week. We dropped her off. She's still getting adjusted and settling in, and classes begin Wednesday, I believe. Today's Monday. So anyway, I'm taking over the scheduling. She did plan it out this week for me, so we kind of had that all figured out. But it's going to start getting tough to get everything harvested around here. That's why I came out and packed that trailer at 5:30 this morning, so it's done and I can join the crew of one of my sons. I'll have both of my sons helping later in the week when we start picking lots of corn, but today we just have a small pick. So one of my sons will be helping, hoping my younger brother will be helping, my nephew, and my cousin's son, who's been on the crew all summer, and his cousin, one of the other guys that's been here all summer. So yeah, we're getting down to very little help to finish up this season, but that's what happens every year, and I kind of plan for that. So even though it is going to get tougher, we will manage to get everything harvested, I hope. Got some really nice size on the cantaloupes today. When they get this yellowish tan color, they're ripe. The other thing we look at is the stem. See how there's like an outline, like a perforation around the stem? And the stem pops right off. It's called a slip. The variety of the jumbo cantaloupe that we're picking right now is Avatar. They average 7 to 10 pounds. They're massive and they eat really good. The variety on the other side is Aphrodite. All right, we got all of our corn harvested for the day. We're heading back to the barn to get it packed up. I'm guessing we got about 150 dozen or so. And this entire 6 to 7 acre block of corn is done. As soon as we get all the corn crated up and into the cooler, we're heading out for zucchini and cucumbers. There's a big one that got missed on Friday. Cucumbers have about ran their course. You see there's hardly anything left in here. And I'm sure they got downy mildew, cucumber beetle damage. It would be really nice to be walking into a new patch right now, but the new patch is not ready for at least 2 weeks, unfortunately. Yeah, there's just nothing out here. Aphids, gosh, anything and everything that could be wrong with these cucumbers is. We'll be lucky to get a couple tubs of cucumbers today. Zucchini still did halfway decent. Looks like we got about 8.5 tubs there. Taking a quick walk over to the new patch. Cauliflower looks absolutely beautiful. Irrigated it for about 8 hours yesterday, and it needed it. Broccoli's finally coming on pretty good. It's a ways off, but it looks nice and healthy. And here's our new row of tomatoes. We did not stake these. We're doing them Veggie Boy style and Broyan's Farm style. Just letting them sprawl out on the plastic. Man, they are whoppers. Look at the size of those babies. Those are beautiful. Man. But it looks like they're starting to get a little bit of blight. Some kind of early or late blight possibly. So they are not going to hold up for a long time. All right, here's our final zucchini row of the year. And you can see we got little finger-sized zucchini on there, so we'll probably start harvesting these here in a week or 10 days. And the final 2 rows of cucumbers for the year. Mostly just in the flower stage, starting to vine out a little bit. There's a little guy, about the size of a finger. So they're coming. Just got to keep the cucumber beetles off of them, but man, they have been terrible this year. But yeah, those look pretty healthy. Pretty happy with the way they look. Lots of cucumber beetles out there already, and lots of honeybees doing their job, getting these things pollinated. So yeah, we're probably, I'd say, a week to 10 days off before we can start harvesting anything here. So unfortunately, that means we're gonna have to keep picking our old patches until those are ready. So I'm hoping those are ready for Labor Day weekend. It's gonna be close. You see, these things are ugly. Every once in a while you find one that's still good. Oh, there's a beauty. When they're really dirty, we need to have them spinning on these brushes to clean them right up. Otherwise, they shoot through way too fast and they'll come out the other end dirty. They're coming out clean, they're just ugly from cucumber beetle damage. Because I don't like to spray pesticides on my vegetables. But sometimes you have to. That one's completely shot. And then you get some with no bites at all. And some that are too big because they got missed for 2 pickings. That's a nice one. Here's what we ended up with today. Almost 9 tubs of zucchini and almost 4 tubs of cucumbers. Not too great of a harvest, but at least it's something. That'll hold us over till the weekend, and then hopefully we'll have a couple more good picks to have plenty for Saturday farmers markets. All right, I'm currently down here at our other farm. It's our old dairy farm that was built in 1963. And I dairy farmed here until I was 28 years old when we sold the cows in 2001. And that's when I went full-time into vegetable production. We're gonna be using the BH100 by Oxbow to pick these green beans today. I have several videos showcasing that harvester. The green beans are absolutely loaded. Woo! And they're starting to get a little bit big. That's why we're picking them on Monday. I would prefer to pick on Tuesday or Wednesday because, you know, I have to hold these for the weekend. They'll hold just fine. Green beans hold for about a week in the cooler. No problem. Man, they look beautiful. Really happy with the Valentino variety. But I can see that they're starting to get little bean bulges. Just barely. There we go. They're still nice and watery inside. They look good. But some of them are starting to get a little dry. But those lightweight dry ones will get sucked out by the air suction fan on the picker. Only the heavier moist beans, you know, that are full of moisture and not dried out will stay down on the conveyor and get packed. Hopefully. Sometimes some dry ones can sneak by. I don't know if you can see that. When they start to get a little bit old, they start getting a little bit of that white foamy look inside. Hopefully there's not too many like that. These probably should have been picked late last week, even mid last week, but I had this patch here to pick, and these were only planted 5 days apart. I would prefer to have my green beans planted 7 days apart, but if I know there's going to be a lot of rain coming, I will tighten up my planting spacing, because if I would have waited to plant these 1 week later than this patch, I would have not got them in the ground because it rained. I saw the rain was coming, so I moved up my planting date by 2 days. I got them in the ground. At least we have green beans. They might not be perfect, but at least we have beans. My goodness, it is not going to take long to fill all of our tubs that we're picking today. Yeah, a little bit on the dry side, doggone it. But some of them look perfect. That's exactly what I like to see. That nice moist, no bean inside yet. So I got 12 rows here to pick. We're probably going to end up picking a third of them. The rest of them will all go to waste. They'll just get bush hogged down. I probably won't even bush hog them. We'll just disc them in. It's unfortunate, but I don't really have a home for them. I'm not going to spend half my day picking and packing these, cooling them, finding a home for them, delivering them, costing my time or someone else's time and my fuel. It's just the way it goes. You know, sometimes you need more than you've planted. Sometimes they yield really well and you don't even need more than a third of them. That's just life on a vegetable farm. It is unfortunate that I cannot give these to some food bank, but like I said, I gotta pick them, pack them, cool them, deliver them. It's a lot of time and effort, and it's not worth my time and effort because I have more important things I need to do. Some of you who may be new to my channel have never seen this green bean harvester. I'll give you a quick look at it. I currently have the cover off so you can see the picking fingers, and this is just running at idle. I have to turn the tractor up to 1800 RPMs. These things will be spinning so fast you can't even see them. It knocks the beans off onto the conveyor belt. They ride up the conveyor belt. All the debris gets sucked out from this giant suction fan. They continue on up the belt and into our picking tubs. Here's the giant fan. Pretty nifty machine. Very pricey machine. Seven and a half tubs of beans on one pass down one side. So we're probably going to end up with 15 or 16 tubs because this next pass is even better. I feel like we're getting a new record bean harvest each week. Definitely a few large, ugly ones in there from time to time. But we'll put them through the sorting machine and we'll get those all nice and packed up and cleaned up. Yeah, beautiful beans. We decided to pick 3 bushels of yellow wax beans. And there's our 30 tubs of green beans ready to roll in the cooler. That's going to equal 40 of these. We're not going to wash and pack them today. I'm going to roll them in the cooler because it's lunchtime and the other guys already went home. So we'll pull them back out, run them through the shaker table, and get them sorted, cleaned, washed, and back in the cooler tomorrow morning. Well, it's mid-afternoon now, and I'm just out here checking this sweet corn patch. We already have the center section picked from last Thursday, but there's a block along the road over there, and this little block I'm in right here has not been picked. The problem is that it's this close to being overripe. It ideally should have been picked last Thursday and Friday when it was prime. Today's Monday, and it's just barely starting to get a little overripe. However, the first block is a more tender variety, and it's actually absolutely perfect right now, but the rest of it is starting to get a little big. Xanadu is amazing. It is still tender and sweet and crunchy, just like it should be. And then we have 8 rows in the middle of Anthem. It's starting to get a little on the big side, and 12 rows, 12 rows of Caliber right here that I'm standing in. And I'll show you one of the ears. You know, actually those aren't too bad, but they're starting to get really big and fat. You can see they're just massive ears. But the good thing about these super sweet varieties is that they hold so long in the field. It's so forgiving. So if you do miss that perfect harvest window by just a little bit, it'll usually hold pretty well. Yeah, I'm debating on what to do. If I had new corn to go into right now, I would probably leave this. But I've been eating some of it. I've probably bit into a dozen ears out here. And in my opinion, it's still good enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it because I have no new corn to walk into. My next patch is not looking too hot. It actually doesn't even exist. About 90% of it got torched by some herbicide I sprayed over the top of it. I think this might be the first time, maybe second or third time in the 25 years that I've been doing this full time, that I've burnt some corn. I had some grass, some wicked grass coming up, some kind of switchgrass or broom grass. I could not get a handle on it, and it was so thick that I couldn't see the corn. You know, the corn was only about a foot tall when I sprayed it, and it was hidden in the grass. And I probably forgot where I had sprayed over the top of it and hit it a second time, and the corn could not handle it. It toasted it. So I've lost a good acre and a half, somewhere between 1 and 2 acres. It's gone. And that was the corn that was supposed to carry me through this week to get me to Labor Day. Actually, some of it is my Labor Day corn. So it was this week's corn and next week's picking. Fortunately, I planted my Labor Day corn in 2 different fields, and the other field looks beautiful. The problem is, it's just not quite there yet. Will it be ready for Labor Day weekend to be harvested at the end of next week? It'll be close. So what is so weird about this time of year, and this happens every year, I think, it's like I got too much of certain items, like the green beans. I'll tell you about the green beans here in a second. And then other items I'm always almost out of, like my cucumbers and my zucchini. I'm hurting for them. I could use more. I wish that new patch was ready. Every year is different. If I follow my planting schedule, my seeding schedule precisely like I did this year, it usually works out that I'm walking from an old patch into the new patch right when I need it. But this year, you know, we had some strange heat waves, and now we're having some really cool weather. Today's like 68 or 70 degrees. It's unseasonably cool. And then we had those torrential 2 or 3 rains over 3 inches. You know, so one of them was the remnants of Hurricane Debbie. So it's just all of these weird weather factors playing into when your crops are ready or not ready. And yeah, we're hurting for some crops like sweet corn. I'm really going to be hurting for corn next week and coming into Labor Day weekend. After Labor Day, for the next 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, you know, our final month of harvesting sweet corn during September, I should be fine. I'm pretty sure the green beans are still going to be good too. Cantaloupes, you know, we picked 200 today, but it wasn't a lot. I was hoping for 300, 400, 500. We're going to blow through those so fast. Hopefully the next patch comes on before Labor Day. So again, it's just certain crops we are loaded down on, and others we are really hurting for. It's impossible to plan everything out perfectly. And even if you do, which I feel like I normally do because I've been doing this for so long, I have 25 years of records to follow, the weather plays a big factor into things and can change things in a heartbeat. And back to the green beans. So we harvested our 40 bushels of green beans that we need to get us through the week, and I only made 2 rounds around the field. So I harvested 4 rows out of 12 rows. There's 8 rows sitting there. It's somewhere between 80 and 100 bushels of beans. I had 2 possible outlets for them. A friend of ours was gonna buy them from me. I was gonna harvest them and roll them in my cooler, and he was gonna come and pick them up tomorrow morning and take them to an auction. I was going to sell the beans to him for $12 a bushel, and he could turn around and sell them for 30 or 40. But you got to get up at 4 a.m. and drive them 2 hours to an auction and hope they sell well. That fell through. He wasn't able to go. I don't have time to go to the auction. I don't have anybody working for me that can go to the auction or ever has been to this auction that he was wanting to go to. So that's out, and now I'm waiting for a call back from our local food bank. Well, I guess it's the regional food bank supervisor. I'm not sure what her title is, but she kind of oversees all the food banks and contacts all of them to find out who has room for certain items. Springfield, Ohio is full. I try not to go to Dayton or Columbus if I can avoid it. She's checking with Lima. Actually, that's backwards. Lima was full. I'm waiting to hear back from Springfield, which is down near Dayton. I will go to Dayton or Springfield if needed. I will not go to Cleveland or Toledo or Cincinnati. I'll just let them rot in the field. It's not worth my headache. And I'm probably only going to get $8 or $10 a bushel. So I'm going to be losing a crate because, you know, when you drop them off at the food bank, you don't get your crates back. I have to harvest them, so that's time and fuel and labor. I got to pay someone, 2 kids, to help pack these all up. And then I have to cool them in my cooler. It's going to make my compressors run all night. That's going to cost money. Then tomorrow morning or afternoon, whenever I'm going to deliver them, I have to load them up, and I'm going to be the one driving them to Springfield, if they have room for them, to drop them off. So that's going to be 3 hours of my day. So that's going to put me behind on other things I need to do around the farm. So hopefully that makes sense. I would love to make a quick $1,000 and get rid of these beans and not let them go to waste in the field. But it's not always as easy as you think to just, hey, let's go harvest some beans and drop them off at the food bank and make a quick buck and feed some people in need. It's not always that easy. But I'm trying. I'm hoping I can get rid of them and hopefully cover my input cost and a little bit of my labor to get them down there. We will see. Well, folks, this is where we're going to wrap up this one today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you all again real soon down on the farm.